Welcome in to the CHGO Bears Podcast presented by PointsBet. Use promo code CHGO when you sign up to get 2 risk-free bets up to $2,000. Felt good to say that again. I'm back, guys. What's up? Nick, thanks for holding down the fort last week. Appreciate
no problem.
it.
I'm glad you're back.
Shows.
Yeah, we had some good guests, and thank you to everyone that stopped by. It was a fun time. Fun time.
Adam Hoge here, alongside Nicholas Moreano and Kyle Williams joining us today. I feel like we need to introduce Kyle to the people a little bit.
Oh, yeah.
Why don't you tell our awesome viewers what's up with Kyle Williams Media? Follow him on Twitter at K_Williams Media.
Yeah, nothing much. Graduated college yesterday, so
Congrats.
Nothing much, he says. I just graduated college.
First in my family to do that, so
Awesome.
That's awesome, man.
I had
That
my
is
family
cool.
there. It was just a great moment, emotional moment.
Yeah.
And it was I've been just watching sports. A great time to be a sports fan. Baseball's on, the hockey playoffs, the Bears. There's stuff to talk about with football. And
None of our teams in Chicago are winning.
but
As usual.
Yeah, that's usual. I'm used to it.
The Sky won again yesterday.
Did they? What are they, 7-3 now or something? I just make that up.
I think you made that up, but
No, I actually looked it up the other day.
Yeah.
I want to say they're.
I'll double
Look it
check
up.
that.
I bet you they're 5-3 or 6-3 or 7-3. One of those three. I'm probably wrong.
I'm excited to be here with you guys. I'm whenever I'm in the office, I always talk with Nick about football, and then Adam, I've been listening to you since I was in high school, so this is a pretty cool moment for me.
Well, we're glad you're here. We appreciate everybody tuning in today on the live YouTube stream. I'm happy to be back from a week of vacation. I saw Top Gun
Oh, yeah.
with my 7-year-old son. People are like, you can bring your 7-year-old to Top Gun? Yes. I think the first time my son watched the original Top Gun, he was 4.
Oh, wow.
So, there's the one dicey scene in the middle you probably want to fast forward through, but the rest of it's fine.
Mm-hmm.
They say shit a couple times. He's surviving.
Yeah,
And I'm talking about the original one. The new one is even better, I think, for kids.
yeah, there's nothing.
There's one F-bomb I will warn you on, which they can get away with now
yeah.
with PG-13 movies. But that's it. Otherwise, you're fine. It was awesome. I loved it. Absolutely loved it.
I saw the picture you took in front of the poster there. I've already seen it twice.
You already saw it twice.
And
is that why your voice is gone?
Yeah.
yeah, no, that's exactly why. 4DX.
What does that mean?
So, here you go. Essentially, the seats move. So every
What?
when the planes move, you move. There's air. There's flashes that
never
go
heard of
on,
this.
and it changes your entire experience.
Wait,
of
where
this-
do you go do that?
Just Gurney,
4D.
4DX. So like randomly air will pop out, but your seats are tilting, moving up, moving down with every single turn that the planes do. And it starts from the very beginning. So, Adam, I recommend if you have an opportunity, see Top Gun in 4DX.
I mean, that sounds like if I was ever to do that for one movie, it'd probably be this
Yeah,
one.
I was told that, yes, if you're going to do it, pay the $10 for that movable seat if you could find it. Yeah. But
Okay,
as-
I'm
as-
sold. I
no
mean, I want to go
spoilers.
see it again anyway.
I might see
so-
it again today in 4DX with my entire family because I just went with my girlfriend.
Yeah.
And now my family's like, well, we love the movie so much, we might as well try it in 4DX. So
That's awesome.
three times,
4D.
I'm down.
You know, guys, as far as the swear words during broadcasts or movies or whatever with children, I had a sort of bad dad moment over the weekend that I should probably bring up. Is that
Okay.
my daughter and I I was solo dadding yesterday and the day before for my wife was at a wedding out of town, and there was a moment that it just got out of hand a little bit. I don't know if this ever happens to you. She's 5.5, and I said
Where's
something.
this going?
I said something was effing stupid.
Oh.
Right.
Yeah.
And probably shouldn't have said that out loud in front of my child. And when my wife got home last night, our daughter said it clear as day, like, "Oh yeah, and Dad said effing stupid." And I was like, "Oh, well, that's a problem." So
You got to own that one.
yeah, that's on
Wait,
me.
she told on you, though?
Oh, she tells
Shame,
on
shame.
everything. Yeah,
Wow.
she is definitely a narc. That's for sure.
That's
Yeah, thanks a lot, kid.
that's a little ridiculous.
Yeah.
See,
well,
I accidentally did that the other day. I was trying to install a baby gate, and those are never
boy.
fun. And at one point, I just dropped an F-bomb, and my son was actually helping me. And he was like, "Oh, you said a bad word."
I'm like, I know.
But he didn't go tell on me. That's low.
Well, yeah.
I don't know.
I don't know. That's the way it is in my house.
Well, I'm happy to be back. Let's see. Top Gun. My son played his first round of golf.
Really?
We did that last week, which I probably shouldn't. I'm dealing with like a busted wrist. I don't know what I did, but I probably should not have played golf with it. That probably made things
It didn't
worse.
help.
But we just did 9 holes, and he's 7, and he did a good job. And then yesterday, have you guys ever been to a Chicago Dogs game?
No.
I gotta give them a shout out. And Sam Brief, who does the games, broadcasts the games for them, he had my son and I up to the booth. I did an inning with them. It was fun. Like the vibe there was awesome. I enjoyed it.
That's in Rosemont, right? Is that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Very Casey knows all about it.
Yeah.
We were talking about you on the broadcast a little bit yesterday.
Ooh.
I said this, I hope it came off as a compliment because I meant it fully as a compliment, but it has a spring training vibe to it, which I love. Like, it's smaller park. It's, everybody that's there is playing for the love of the game, basically, if they're still going. And it's very family friendly. You can walk, the concourse is all open. I loved it. It was great.
I have to check it. We should play our CHGO softball games there.
Championship game should be in there.
Yeah, that's.
Although there's actually a softball diamond down the street. That's where it should be played.
Hey, I'm down.
Not in the baseball stadium.
I'm down.
I think it's actually on Jenny Finch Way is where the softball stadium is.
That's right. She's a former Chicago Bandit.
Yeah.
Speaking of women's sports, you are correct. 7-3 for our Chicago Sky.
Oh!
Wow, he didn't make it up.
Yeah.
7-3.
Put some respect on that.
Yeah.
I'm not going to lie. That was a guess. I just happened to get it right.
Good guess.
So I'm not going to take too much credit for it. Anyway, we are back. I'm excited to be here. We have some fun things planned. Look, we are in the dog days of NFL summer where the conversation is pretty much all about Deshaun Watson at this point, for being honest.
Honestly.
And that's not going well for the Cleveland Browns. But we have some fun things that we are going to be continuing to do on the show pretty much on a daily basis to get you through the summer and get you ready for the season. So if you don't already know, Will DeWitt, who is enjoying life in Hawaii right now, has a great player profile series going on at allchgo.com right now. Player profile coming out every single day. Let's see, we had Deandre Houston-Carson yesterday.
Yep, Elijah Hicks before that.
Yep.
So you just got to go to the CHGO Bears Twitter page or even on All CHGO, and you'll see literally everybody that Will's written about so far.
And so you can get that content every day on allchgo.com. But we're also going to talk about these players on the show every day. And then some of you that have been following me for a long time or listen to Hoge and Johns or whatever know that I keep player grades throughout the season. And so I thought that this would be kind of a cool time of year to take some of the grades from last year. Basically, it's, player review type season and spin it forward to how these players can either improve or keep up what they've been doing from last year, the year prior to that. So pretty much every day from here on out, we're going to be going through a player that I graded from last season, talk about why they ended up there, and what it means and how they can get better. And in this case, we're going to start today with Tevin Jenkins. And we're only going to be talking about players returning at this point because we're trying to spin it forward to 2022, obviously. So Tevin Jenkins is kind of the big topic today. As he had such a wonky rookie season that it almost didn't feel fair to grade him because he missed the first 11 games of the season, I think. Then he basically plays only special team snaps when he's active for the first time against the Arizona Cardinals. Then he gets thrown into the Packer game at Lambeau Field.
Sunday Night Football.
Let's throw a rookie who really hasn't been through a good strength and conditioning program because he had back surgery in August. Let's leave him on an island right away on the first play.
That was awesome. That was a good decision by the coaching staff.
that went really well. Then the only game he played 100% of the snaps was the following week against the Vikings. So to kind of prepare for this, I'd already graded all this out during the season. I actually went back and rewatched the full Vikings game.
Goodness.
Yeah, which, I regret doing that, quite frankly.
Yeah.
For being honest, it was a not enjoyable experience. In terms of Justin Fields, boy, you got the full Justin Fields rookie season experience in that game.
Yep.
You had 8 or 9, good plays, a couple special throws, and then you had so many why the hell are you not getting rid of the football moments, taking unnecessary hits, and then it turned out he actually got hurt at the end of that game, remember, because then he wasn't available after that. Then we had the Nick Foles experience in Seattle, which was actually kind of fun. That game was fun in a weird way. And it was so frustrating, like rewatching some of this, because Justin Fields there was like literally 3 plays in that game, guys, where just throw the ball away. And there was one time he actually did throw the ball away, but he did it so late he took a huge shot out of bounds.
I was rewatching the game over there on the side here at the CHGO studio, and same thing that you saw. It's like you saw like there was a nice throw over the middle of the field to Cole Kmet, and then there's plays like that.
Yeah,
it's like you saw everything from Justin Fields, but for Tevin Jenkins, it's like the first play was a holding call.
Yes,
the very first play on offense, holding call. The third play he completely whipped on a block. So you saw a mixed performance from both those guys.
Yeah, but it was better than the week prior in Green Bay. So let's go ahead and throw up kind of my grade profile for Tevin Jenkins, which we'll have these for every player. But we actually don't have the number up there. That's okay.
That's on the next one.
Oh, okay.
We got. You want the actual number immediately?
Yeah.
Oh,
if we can.
Well, let's switch to that one then. All right.
Sorry about that.
No, that's fine.
Look at that. I thought it all. I'm sorry. I thought it would all be on one. It's all good. So like, as we go through these, basically players get put in the tiers. The way I do this, it's somewhat similar to. I mean, there's so many different. Every team kind of has their own grading scale, and I took what is a pretty common one in the NFL, and then kind of tweaked it to this system, and sort of understanding that obviously I am not going to know every assignment on every play. I don't have a copy of the playbook. I had a coach once tell me, hey, just concentrate on, like, the plays where a player clearly was he in on the play, and did he make the play? Mm-hmm. If you do that, at the end of the day, over the course of a season, it's going to grade out mostly accurately.
Would we call this H-War? Is this Hoge?
Something like
wins
that.
Wins above replacement?
Yeah, H-War.
Yeah.
I like it.
I like it.
But so basically anything below a 0 is actually a level of like you're trying to replace that player. Now, in Tevin Jenkins' case, and we can go to the next slide here, because he did grade out just below that, we are talking about such a limited sample size. Yeah. Most of that goes back in terms of being a below replacement level player, goes back to the Packer game, which he's getting thrown in there for the first time, in middle of the game, tough situation, on the road at Lambeau Field. And I just think that, like, we all saw this when he came back. You saw some good signs, but you also saw a guy that clearly had not been really playing football. Mm-hmm. He had back surgery in August, which these are all probably coming off like excuses, but then he can't lift. He can't go through full conditioning for a while. Then he gets thrown out there in a tough position against the Packers. I did feel like after that, in what was still, like the Vikings game, for instance, you brought up the 2 bad plays at the beginning. You watch the rest of that, and it's okay. Mm-hmm. Like, he leveled out, and then when he came back in against the Vikings in Week 17, where he oddly didn't start that game, Week 18, I should say, same type of thing. Like, it wasn't anything special, but he kind of leveled out. And so I hate the fact that he's even getting a negative grade overall, but that is the way it did come out for the snaps that he was on the field. I wouldn't really hold too much of this against him. I would say that you want it to be better, obviously, and you hope that he has a full offseason, is fully healthy. And if he can do that, I still have high hopes for Tevin Jenkins. And all that was on the left side for the most part. So you put him at right tackle, which is a move the Bears seem to be making with him, and maybe he can still live up to those expectations.
I'll say this too, Adam. Like, he was playing, or he wasn't playing at Oklahoma State. He was injured there. So then going into his rookie season, he gets re-injured again, gets a surgery, and then he's also swapping sides. So factor all that into the equation. You can see why the grade it is what it is right now. But like you said, you see some of the snaps later in that game, like you see him executing some of these combo blocks, getting to the second level, and showing that physicalness that he was renowned for at Oklahoma State. So I think that's going to be what I want to see out of him as we see the 2022 season.
For me, it's just a lot of consistency. You hope to see just more. Like, he's going to make mistakes, obviously, with this being his first true off season and season. But you want to just see if he makes a mistake later in the season, he doesn't make that mistake anymore. And I just think him being able to build that continuity with Justin Fields is going to be paramount for the Bears going forward. As they invested a lot in him as a second-round pick. So that's kind of what I want to see, just more consistency, and just if you make a mistake in weeks 1, 2, and 3. Shore those up by the end of the season.
Yeah, and I think you did see some improvement. Even as I was watching that Vikings game, which was, again, the only game he played all season where he actually played 100% of the snaps, which is why I went back to that game, because I'm like, okay, this is the one tape.
It's the one sample
where you actually see him. He knows he's going in the game. He's starting the game. He's going to finish the game. He was on an island a fair amount in that game and handled it. I don't know if every snap, if you're the offensive line coach, you're going to be thrilled with the technique on every single play. But, there was one time where he sort of got beat to the edge, and he carried him out that direction, kept him going upfield so that Fields could get out and escape to that side. And that's, what you're supposed to do in that position. So, it's still a hard thing to fully evaluate with Tevin Jenkins in the position he was in as a rookie. And I think the tough thing is just there's so many examples of players the Bears have drafted, high draft picks, who have then dealt with an injury right away, and they've just never been the same. You don't want to hold that against Tevin Jenkins just because it hasn't worked out for players before him. But when you're the three of us who have seen this happen so many times, you just get a little skeptical.
Yeah, and that's also the game, too, where Tevin retaliated for the late hit that happened on Justin Fields, and that's a side that you want to continue to see, not so much the penalty, but the mentality, right? Having that physicalness, that demeanor, that if you hit our quarterback, well, there's going to be something that happens for retaliation. So I think if Tevin Jenkins plays with that attitude, now at a position he's more comfortable with at right tackle, I think you're going to see him be just more comfortable. And he did say in his press conference that there are a lot of things that he's learning that are new compared to the system last year that he has to implement this year. So it's going to be a little bit of a learning curve, but because he's at a position at the right tackle spot to where he played in Oklahoma State, I think that's going to be good for him moving forward. I saw there was a comment in here, are you guys concerned about the back injury? Tevin Jenkins said he feels good. He said he feels 100%, and that's something that's completely new as opposed to last offseason. So if he's
but yeah, I am worried about the back injury.
You have to. But he's doing his Pilates, you guys. As long as he's doing those Pilates workouts, and he said he has, it's strengthening up the core. He's not using as much as the back, and he says he feels good.
Yeah, for me, it's just I also want to see how he said he lost around 20 pounds, I believe. I want to see how that impacts his game, impacts his style. I know they want to run a zone blocking scheme, I believe, and just see how he fits going forward with this new regime and the addition of Chris Morgan to the coaching staff as the offensive line coach. And it's just a lot of new parts that are coming in. So I'm very intrigued to see how they all mesh well together, get the best out of Tevin Jenkins.
Yeah, and I think that's, he still looks like a talented player to me. And I do think that if the back holds up, he can be an upgrade at right tackle over what the Bears have had there. So we'll talk a little bit about, I think, what are fair expectations in this coming season for Tevin Jenkins. But first, I want to tell you that the best way to support CHGO is to download the PointsBet app. Use code CHGO when you sign up. And if you do that right now, you'll get 2 risk-free bets up to $2,000. And that's not it, because if you make a $50 or more first-time deposit, you'll receive a free CHGO membership, which unlocks all of our web content, and you'll even get a free shirt of your choice from the CHGO locker. $2,000 in free bets, a free CHGO membership, free T-shirt from the CHGO locker. I think I have a bunch of shirts coming today, actually.
Man, you got it all.
Speaking of the Sky, I ordered a Sky shirt. Okay. I got that coming.
Nice. Baby blue.
So, and I honestly forgot to take my sweatshirt off before we started the show, but I do have the White Sox shirt on. I felt like after they won 2 games in a row, I could finally wear those CHGO Sox shirt.
You don't get 2 wins in a row from that team very often.
But then I think subconsciously I must have thought against it because then I still wore the sweatshirt.
True. You're just used to it.
I forgot.
The team's unwatchable.
What?
The last 2 days they were.
Oh yeah, the last 2 days
They were
the team's unwatchable.
somewhat watchable.
I mean, it's just I'm so angry at everything going on in CHGO White Sox land. It's just I just can't. But
Trust me.
hey, they're doing a podcast as well right now.
They
But,
are.
Thanks for watching us.
The show you did with Herb when you guys were just kind of venting, I could really just feel just the how good it was for you guys to just get that off of your guys' chest.
Yeah. Yeah, usually my wife has to hear it. So it was nice to unload it on Herb and Sean for once. I know I'm still in the middle of this read, but the second game against the Cubs, which they actually won that game, I walked out in the middle of the 10th inning. I'm like, it's 85 degrees outside. I am not doing this to myself right now. I'm just not doing it. And I walked outside, and then later my dad told me they won. And I was like, cool. Right. I'm glad I didn't watch it. It's just not worth it.
No, it's not.
Yeah.
Self-care is the best care.
Yeah, very true.
That's what it was. That's what it was. But yesterday before we went to the Dogs game, I was able to watch those first couple innings where they were up 6-0. And I was foolish enough to think that they were going to have a nice, easy victory for once. They still won. A win is a win. Hey, any questions about any of this with CHGO and PointsBet, please email pointsbet@allchgo.com. We'll help you out. Your home for live in-play betting just got even better. Introducing PointsBet's new feature, the Live NBA Same Game Parlay. For the first time ever, build the perfect live NBA Same Game Parlay only with PointsBet. Combine your favorite bets anytime, and then you can boost them as well. Watch live, parlay live, boost live with PointsBet. Online sign-up is available in Illinois. Download the PointsBet app right now. Register your account from start to finish, all from your phone. What are you waiting for? Once the game starts, don't just bet. Live your bet life with PointsBet. Gambling problem, call 1-800-522-4700.
All right, bear with me here. I have to tell you about our next partner, Athletic Greens. With 1 scoop of Athletic Greens, you are absorbing 75 high-quality vitamins, minerals, whole food source, superfoods, probiotics, and adaptogens to help start your day off right. This mixture of ingredients helps your immune system, gives you energy, and improves your focus, and that's why I take my Athletic Greens, and you should too. What's awesome about Athletic Greens is that it costs less than a cup of coffee a day, and it also helps support better sleep quality and recovery, which we all need. Right now, it's time to reclaim your health and arm your immune system with convenient daily nutrition. It's just 1 scoop in a cup of water every day. That's it. No need for a million different pills and supplements to look out for your health. To make it easy, Athletic Greens is going to give you a free 1-year supply of immune-supporting vitamin D and 5 free travel packs with your first purchase. All you have to do is visit athleticgreens.com/CHGO Bears. Again, that is athleticgreens.com/CHGO Bears to take ownership over your health and pick up the ultimate daily nutrition insurance.
Man, shout out to Nick. I mean, you could tell he's just a little bit struggling
today, guys. I'm
It's
sorry.
like the Michael Jordan flu game.
Yeah. Yeah. The Nicholas Moreano.
I just feel like my voice
podcast.
in any second is just going to just go out, and I'm just hoping, we're getting close.
Finally.
Yeah, I know.
After the week I had last week, I don't.
Yeah, you had to carry the show last week, and now
So
you're still hurting from it.
I guess so.
Wow.
Damn it.
You got to work on voice exercises. Drink some tea.
I did drink some tea.
Drink some Strava coffee.
Self-care.
Strava coffee.
Is that a read today?
Yeah, self-care.
It's not, but now it is. Shout out to Strava.
Mm-hmm. Strava.
Did you stop taking your greens for a week? Is that the problem?
Actually, I did not take them for the past 2 days, and
Bam.
And now you have quote-unquote allergies.
All right, let's talk about fair expectations for Tevin Jenkins in 2022, coming off really what was. We talk about how not ideal Justin Fields' rookie year was. Even worse for Tevin Jenkins. You don't want to have back surgery in August and then thrown in when you're maybe not quite ready. I'm glad they got him out there and got him some live reps, and that he didn't get hurt any further. But it is kind of unfair to give him a full evaluation. And I certainly, shared the grade with you for what we saw on the field, but don't really think that that's fair at the same time. And just to give you an idea, so the last 4 games, when I say he kind of like evened out, I think the last game I had was kind of at that fringe starter level. So I have like categories that these players get put in. At the top, we're talking about the blue chip type players. That's the type of category Roquan Smith spoiler alert, was in last year.
Probably the only guy there.
Okay. Then you have long-term starters. Those are the type of guys that, like, okay, you can count on them as starters. You want to lock them up long-term. Those are the guys you try to extend. That's ideally where you want your draft picks to be playing at that level. We're like, okay, we're going to give them an extension. You draft well. You extend your guys. Then you got guys that are just coming in and they're solid starters for you, but they might not necessarily be guys that you bring back. But they play at a level that they can start. Then you have your fringe starters, and then guys who are sort of close, but ideally you probably don't want them starting every week. And then you have the category of more like guys who are definitely reserve players and maybe can help you on special teams. So for me, Jenkins towards the end, that last week when he got in there against the Vikings again, played more like kind of that fringe starter spot. And I think that, just getting him in a position where he plays like a starter, not even that long-term starter. Eventually you want him to get there, but since his rookie year was such a wash, if he can just come in and solidify that right tackle spot, then that would be a win.
Yeah, that would be a win. I think my expectations for Jenkins this year is going to be actually the expectations that I had for him last season before the whole back injury came into effect, where he should be a good right tackle. He should be able to show that he can be a physical presence and that he can be out there. I think if the back is not a concern, like Tevin Jenkins has said it is or isn't, then that's what you expect to see out of him. Someone that's going to be physical in the run blocking game, who is still learning, because this really is his true rookie season as being out there as a player. He's gone through all the, going through a game day routine and stuff like that, but this is his true rookie season. So you're going to see some mistakes. It's going to happen. But in terms of being out there, being a physical presence in the run game, and being someone you can count on, that's kind of like what I'm expecting. I have Tevin Jenkins, who is learning a new system and is now going back to the right tackle position after getting all those reps in practice for all the weeks, or the mental reps really, last season. So that's kind of what I'm expecting out of him for 2022.
Yeah, he only played 160 offensive snaps last season, according to PFF, so it's really hard to gauge, like we've all mentioned, how well he played or how well he didn't play. But going forward, offensive line plays just at such a premium in the National Football League. It's hard to find good offensive linemen. So if Tevin Jenkins can develop into a solid starter, I feel like that would be a win for the Bears, especially to solidify that right tackle position. You don't have to worry about that. He's physical in the run game, solid in the pass game, and I just think that would be a win for the Bears going forward.
Well, just to give you an idea, that would be an immediate upgrade at right tackle for the Bears, because just to play at a starting level, because Jermaine Ifedi, who I think played 6 games last year before ending up on IR, he was not playing in fact, the grade I had on him was even worse than the one we just showed you on Tevin Jenkins. So
that's not good.
Yeah. And that's a veteran in that spot. And then Larry Borum did a little bit better, but Borum went through his own kind of ups and downs as a rookie too. And so at no point did the Bears actually have like a starting caliber right tackle. Then they didn't Latavius Simmons play that game in Tampa too?
Yeah.
Which may have been the lowest graded offensive line grade I had.
That makes sense.
Game last year. It was not great. So that's kind of how you have to look at it, is like, can Tevin Jenkins just give the Bears something that, Bobby Massey was just a guy you didn't have to think about too much. I know there would be times where he'd get his criticism from fans, but really that was a solid signing. You brought a guy in who just played solid right tackle for you.
And he was available. That's like the
That's
big thing.
another
That's a
thing.
huge thing. If Tevin Jenkins is just available for the 2022 season, like even there's been a lot of bad tackle play over the years for the Bears, but you will just take a guy that's just there on a consistent basis. Like, oh, yeah, 76 is going to be out there.
Yeah.
We'll take it.
Yeah,
So.
availability is the best.
Hey, Herb. What's up, Herb? Herb Lawrence getting done with the CHGO White Sox show. I don't think he realized that we were on the air as he walked out of there, which is fine. I love Herb. Top 5 favorite people in the world.
Herb's great.
He's just the best.
Great last name.
Lawrence.
Yeah.
Oh, I wonder why.
Better last name than first name, though? Or
Not cool.
Herb actually helped me find a barber. I needed a barber. I needed a haircut, and my barber was busy this week, and he quote tweeted my tweet, and I was able to find somebody. Yeah,
Herb's got connections, man. That's awesome. Love it.
finding barbers through Twitter. And Herb, I love it.
I love it.
Ecknerwall23 on Twitter. All right. So we mentioned that Will has been going through and previewing all these players. These are comprehensive reviews of some of these players. Today, the one we're going to talk about, and again, you can find all these at allchgo.com, which is where you should go get these memberships. These are actually all unlocked for you.
Yep.
So if you're not a member, you can still read these. But please check out allchgo.com. Become a member. And Deandre Houston-Carson is the player that we are discussing today who will come back to the Bears this season for his 7th season. I believe he's the longest tenured Bear
yep.
at this point, with Pat O'Donnell no longer being on the team.
Mm-hmm.
So some interesting things here. I mean, one is DHC at this point has already established himself as a very good and dependable special teamer. You know, he's the epitome of working hard and holding down a job in the NFL. For a 6th-round pick out of William and Mary to be, you know, going into his 7th year with the Chicago Bears is a great story in and of itself. But he's obviously a guy that the Bears have found value in, and whether it's on the field, off the field. And one of the things I think is cool about what DHC has done the last couple of years is they've been able to find a niche for him on defense a little bit. Which you may remember, they had started, Vic Fangio started doing that with Sherrick McManus.
Yep.
Like after Sherrick McManus had been established on the Bears as a special teamer for 5-6 years, he started finding little packages to put him on the field on defense. A lot of times as a pass rusher, which was awesome because Sherrick was one of the more he had quickness that I don't know that fans just watching the game can ever appreciate. But that's why he was so deadly as a gunner.
Exactly.
It's why he could get around blocks all the time. And so while he never became an outstanding corner in the league, why not use that to your advantage in some what were kind of you'd think a mismatch of a huge left tackle against a smaller guy, but because he was so shifty, he could just get around.
Yep.
He could just bend right around them. So I always loved how Vic Fangio did that. Now for DHC, it's been a little bit different. They found like kind of dime packages to put him back there, but he gets he's shown a knack for getting his hands on the football. And as Will pointed out in his piece, the interception he was able to get against Las Vegas last year
Covered a lot of ground.
Was huge.
Covered a lot of ground on that play, but you go the season prior to that where, Tom Brady's putting up 4 fingers, like Deandre Houston-Carson's the one batting down that pass over the middle of the field to kind of make that whole sequence happen. Like Deandre Houston-Carson has had moments. There was in the 2022 season or 2020 season, it was a game against Carolina. He also had a key interception there, but anytime you've asked him to fill in with those dime packages, he just seems like a guy that knows his assignment, maybe doesn't have the greatest athletic ability, but he's still capable of completing his assignments.
Yeah. Will noted in his piece that he played a career-high 419 snaps last year on defense, so he's shown that he can take on more in a limited role while in addition to being a special teams guy, a key member of the special teams. And you need guys like him on the team just to help you win, set the tone, set the culture, which they're trying to build in Chicago. And as the longest tenured Bear, he has a lot of cachet in the locker room. And so it's always important to just have him on the field, in special teams, and in the locker room.
And Will also noted that he was sent on a career-high 12 blitzes last season. So they did kind of get him, going after the passer a little bit too when he got out there. So to me, just a valuable player, doesn't probably get the same amount of respect that he probably deserves. But I'm interested to see, so you have a new defense, a much simpler defense that doesn't use as many sub-packages, and the Bears drafted Jaquan Brisker. So
I think it would be big for Elijah Hicks, for someone who's lower end at the depth chart playing that safety position, someone who's probably going to have to contribute on special teams. Who do you look towards who's started there and then eventually worked his way onto defense? So that's DHC, Deandre Houston-Carson. So if I see somebody going under his wing, like Elijah Hicks would be a guy that I think immediately can learn a lot from a Deandre Houston-Carson, how to make the most out of being, well, he was undrafted, but working his way onto a roster and then eventually playing some defensive snaps.
That's a good point. Now, they're a little bit different in terms of
DHC
is much more subtle.
Yeah, that's very true. Yeah,
Elijah
personality.
Hicks has already made it very clear that he is a very energetic guy, which I love too. DHC is just, I'm telling you, one of those guys that coaches just love right away. Like, I guarantee you, Matt Eberflus, Richard Hightower already love him.
Oh, for sure, yeah.
Yeah, go ahead, Kyle.
I was just going to ask you, you've covered the Bears a long time. Do you have, like, a favorite Houston-Carson, like, just story or memory?
For DHC?
Yes.
That's a good question. Well, I mean, the impact he had at the end of that Bucs win 2 years ago, the big, huge win they had against Tom Brady, and breaking that. I think that would, like, that's the game to me that I always think of as, like, the DHC game. So maybe that. But yeah, I mean, sort of being a special teams guy, I am. Like, I have an appreciation for guys like that just grind and do everything that they're asked to do. And I do think it's important to have a special teams leader, in your locker room. For guys like you just brought up, like Hicks, to look up to and to see, like, hey, here's a guy that came from a small school, late round pick that has made a very good NFL career out of it.
Yeah, I think in terms of, like, the hits philosophy too, like, I don't think DHC is going to have to work really hard to implement that into his game because he's been doing it his entire career, right? Like, that's why he's still on the Bears. That's why he's the longest tenured Bear. So he's already I think already implemented that philosophy. So you always, like Nomad says on the comment here, is one of those glue guys that every team needs. I completely agree with that.
Dan Pompey had a great story a couple weeks ago on Matthew Slater, who
special teams ace for the Patriots.
Matthew Slater, I don't know if it'll actually happen because, like, we're still, like, apparently Devin Hester, who's the most obvious special team guy who should go in first ballot, couldn't go into the Hall of Fame first ballot. So I don't know if there'll ever be a spot for a guy like Matthew Slater in the Pro Football Hall of Fame. I, of course, would argue right away that there should be, because if you are the best at your position and you play a football position, like, I still think that's football, right? Then you should have a place in a museum that's supposed to recognize players like
football
that.
Players.
But just if you look at Matt, I'm not saying DeAndre Houston-Carson is to the level of Matthew Slater and what he's been in New England for as long as he has. I think Slater's like 30. Yeah, he's 36 now. But a fifth-round pick, 2008 out of UCLA, who never really made it as a wide receiver, could never really be depended on. Almost lost his job a couple times. But talk about a guy who's just always there. Everybody in the locker room loves him. Leader on that team, captain. Those players are valuable. And to see the way that Slater is just continually brought back by a coach like Bill Belichick. Like,
that speaks volumes.
That's right there. That's why these guys have value for coaching staffs.
Absolutely. Guys, before we continue this conversation, just have to tell you about PointsBet. If you enjoy CHGO, one way to help us to continue to grow is to download the PointsBet app and use code CHGO when you sign up. Not only are you going to get 2 risk-free bets up to $2,000, but if you make a $50 or more first-time deposit, you'll receive a free CHGO membership, which unlocks all of our web content. You'll even get a free shirt of your choice from the CHGO locker. If you have any questions, you can email pointsbet@allchgo.com, and we'll help you out. And in case you missed it, online sign-up is available in Illinois. You'll be signing up with the fastest sportsbook, easier than ever, so you can start living your bet life in seconds. So what are you waiting for? Once the game starts, don't just bet. Live your bet life with PointsBet. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-522-4700.
You did it.
There we go.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. That's great.
I feel like that's what
That's
today's all
amazing.
about.
That's great.
Shout out to Joey for hooking me up with that. I wasn't
Appreciate
doing
it,
that.
Joey.
Yeah.
And Lawrence.
That's excellent.
And for those listening to the podcast, we've put up a picture of MJ from the flu game, and that's Nick's head and Adam's head playing the roles of MJ and Pip.
That's how I feel right now.
Yeah. and Adam, you're just making him do all the reads today? I feel like
No,
we
it's
could
Okay,
It's two.
so true story. After I heard him do the Athletic Greens one earlier, I was going to take that one, but he just jumped into it right there. So I seriously was going to take that one.
I got through it. I think all right.
But this is MJ getting through the flu game. He doesn't he doesn't want Scotty taking his shots for him.
Yeah.
You got it.
No.
Just
I have another quick question for you, Adam Hoge. Why is your camera's or your phone's flashlight on?
Is it? Oh, I have no idea. Look at that.
damn.
I'm just getting in the
fourth quarter
in the mood.
Just,
Just waving the phone around like this.
Oh, there we go. Yep.
Yeah.
We already got bright enough lights as it is with these two that
no
you guys
kidding.
can't see.
remember
in the video.
having a lighter at a concert? Anyone remember that?
No,
I mean, obviously. you don't.
Yes, but it's much better to have these.
Having a what?
a lighter.
Lighter.
Oh, I don't remember.
No.
Yeah, that was like a thing back in the day. You'd like, it's I don't know if it's like
Sometimes
want an
Yeah, well,
encore
that's-
or that kind of thing. Now people just
it
hold
was,
up their phones.
well, yeah, it was lighters before everybody had flashlights on their phones. But
And then there was an app that was just a picture of a lighter, but then they just said,
I
"You know
actually
what?
remember
remember
that.
that.
I remember
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Let's just use the camera or the flashlight. It's easier."
All right, last thing for the show today as we get all our phones up. Oh, so your green bubble phone does that too?
Wow.
It does.
Congrats on
It's
that.
probably stronger than most iPhones. Just saying.
Okay. Nice. Why don't you just get a flashlight? Did the Akeem Hicks news come down early enough on Friday for you guys?
We talked about it on one of the events. Yeah.
Okay. I think that was Friday. I honestly, I'm
Maybe
very
it was
proud of
Wednesday.
myself for how much I unplugged last week.
Actually, I think
So-
it was Wednesday, Adam. To be
No,
completely
it
honest.
wasn't. Was
Yeah. It was because I was.
It's
talking.
been that many days? See? This
Yeah,
shows
really
you how
unplugged.
unplugged that
That's
was.
good though.
I
You
wish
gotta
I could
unplug
unplug
everything.
like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, I don't think I can.
Oh, it was good. I still got the tweet, and I was like, oh,
No, that's fine.
that's a good spot for him, which
Yeah.
is all I wanted to bring up. But this was partly because I watched that Vikings tape. That was late in the season. He was a beast in that game.
He was.
He was unbelievable. I'm watching this. I'm trying to watch this game to watch Tevin Jenkins, but I'm like, all right, since I have it on, I'll watch the defense.
I won't fast forward. Yeah.
Yeah, and like Akeem Hicks was all over the field.
Energetic still, like you said, late in the season, but he
Fourth
was
to
getting after
last
it.
game. Yeah, fourth to last game of the season. Just showing you, like, the dude could still play. And I feel that same way. I think he ends up in a great spot in Tampa where he can go get a ring, potentially. And because they're already loaded on that D line, like, they can probably put him in a
Rotation.
position where he can rotate in and out, maybe stay healthier, because that's obviously kind of the big question at his stage in his career. But if he can come in and give you some of those same splash plays where he's just throwing dudes, getting to the quarterback, I think that's a great spot for him. And good patience by him and Drew Rosenhaus as his agent, just kind of letting the market settle, find a spot where he can go join a competitive team, and gets a contract that where, I don't necessarily know at this point, like, all the incentives that were built in, but they said it could be worth up to $10 million.
Yeah, it's good for Akeem. I mean, him and Vita Vea next to each other on a given play, I don't care what offensive line you are. That is a lot to handle in terms of Akeem Hicks, what he can do and penetrate, and Vita Vea being the big guy that he is. Good luck. So I know Akeem Hicks is going to be motivated, but, yeah, the 1 year, $10 million to play in a contender, play with Tom Brady, you have a chance to win a ring, no
Live
doubt.
in Tampa?
Live in Tampa too, not be in Chicago anymore? Absolutely.
He got good money too. I mean, you know,
Yeah.
the signing bonus of looking at Spotrac right now is $6.1 million. So like that's all guaranteed.
It's a good situation.
They handle that pretty well. Waiting because at some point you're waiting so long, you're like, is he done? And I kept thinking about, I'm like, there's no way he could be done. He still had so many plays last year where he looked like Akeem Hicks.
Oh yeah.
He wasn't always out there the whole time. And then I didn't know how much that incident at the end of the season
With Chris Rumpf,
was
the D-line
was
coach. Yeah.
because he had that incident in the locker room, and that was actually after our win. If that was holding him back, and but you know, if you were to ask me, you know, for a player that I just really appreciated covering the whole time he was in Chicago, it would be Akeem Hicks. Like first of all, a great story where it's probably Ryan Pace's best free agent signing.
I think so.
You know, finding kind of a diamond in the rough, somebody who just needed to join the right defense, the right team, at the right time, and then get him in a position where his career takes off. Then they're able to sign him to a deal that worked out for both sides. It was good money. The Bears never regretted the money. There was no reason to. You know, and I was just appreciated how he played football too. So good for Akeem Hicks signing with the Bucks, and you know, I'll be happy for him if he ends up getting a ring out of it.
Yeah, the only thing over the past 3 seasons, he's missed 20 games, so that's a big thing with him. How much Akeem Hicks are you going to get? But if you can get a good, 12 games out of him, if they're towards the end of the year, that's going to definitely help the Tampa Bay Bucks and what they want to do.
I mean, I got to be honest. Like, I'm not rooting for him to get a ring. I don't want Tom Brady to get another ring.
Oh. It's not Tom Brady. It's Akeem Hicks.
Well, I get it, but like, sorry, bro, you chose the wrong team. I'm not rooting for you.
Okay. Yeah.
Well, that's
I'm not rooting
Lawrence
for the
you.
Bucks.
He always has something.
What's the beef with Brady?
Enough.
Let somebody else win.
Yeah.
I felt that way when he was still with the Patriots. Then once he went to Tampa, I'm like,
I'm
okay,
like, go
this is
win
kind of cool.
Go do it.
You got to respect the guy.
I kind of want to see Tom
yeah,
celebrating one more. You know, him drunk at the championship parade again.
He's letting himself loose. I love it. Different side of Tommy.
Yeah, we saw that. Now it's 2 years later. We still have to-
Lawrence also doesn't like Tom Cruise.
What? When did I say that?
That was like a couple days ago.
Did I?
Yeah.
Oh well, he's a Scientologist crazy person. So yeah.
Oh yeah. I mean, I can
That part
understand
of
the
it,
argument
yes.
of not liking Tom Cruise. If you were to say I don't like Maverick, I would have a problem with that.
Wait, do you like Maverick?
I mean, I haven't seen the new film yet, so
What about the old one?
Maverick.
yeah, that's fine.
Oh my God, that's twice now since I walked in here. Kevin hated Top Gun.
Now I don't. Like
I
Kevin.
didn't say
No, I'm
hate
just
it
kidding.
at all.
That's
I'm
the
just
first
saying,
person I've ever heard say I did not like Top Gun.
I'm
always
just saying
knew
it
there was
was a
something up with
film.
Kevin.
It was like
He's talking about the original
yeah,
one.
I
by the
know.
way.
It was
Yeah.
40 years ago or however the hell long ago it was.
34.
Okay, great.
Well, he was kind of criticizing the special effects. He hadn't seen it till he was 36. Dude, do you realize when that movie came out in 1986 that those special effects were probably amazing? Like, what other
Yeah.
movie had real F-14s flying around?
Yeah, I'm fine
Okay.
with all that. I'm just over the whole Tom Cruise, like, oh, wow, he does all his own stunts. Blah. Who cares? Like, whatever, man. That's great. But it's
think
mainly the
that's pretty
Scientology
impressive.
thing, if I'm being honest.
Did you see the video with him and James Corden
Yes.
No.
where he was really flying him around in like a fighter jet?
Mm-hmm.
No.
That was
That,
impressive.
you got to be
Yeah.
impressed a little. You got to be a little impressed.
I was.
Yeah. I don't
Or
know.
when
Should
did you
we
see
be
the one where
letting
he-
Tom Cruise randomly fly around fighter jets? Like, is that something that we should be doing? How much money is that wasting?
I mean, if it entertains me, yes. I don't think it wasn't a government plane.
I'm sure it was.
It was like a private airfield, I think.
Okay.
Now, the stuff they use for the movie is a little bit different. I think I saw that like it cost them $15 million an
Yes.
hour
Mm-hmm.
Hey,
to borrow those F-18s for the movie.
Well worth it.
Yes, Fofo, I am a
Stranger
hater.
Things
That's
budget.
true.
Yeah.
I
But
don't
that
disagree.
money's going to the Navy. They're paying the Navy to use the planes.
Just what we need is more money for the military in this country. But that's a whole other
Here
podcast.
we go. Here we go. All right. Hey, nice putt in that the golf outing last week, by the way, with Tom Brady.
Oh, is that
Aaron Rodgers
Oh,
hit
yes,
the
yep,
game-winning
you sealed
putt.
it. I did see that.
Mm-hmm.
That was the one sporting event last week I actually kind of scheduled and was like, I want to watch this.
I actually missed all of
It's
it.
entertaining.
But
to
the
see
highlights. Saw the
Patrick
highlights.
Mahomes, he's a good quarterback. He's also a good golfer, apparently. he was on fire during that round.
You do it all, huh?
Yeah, so I highly enjoyed that too. Another thing for my vacation. So I don't know. I don't necessarily root for Brady, but I don't care if they win. I find the Bucs to be an entertaining football team.
I like Tom Brady now. A lot more now than I did with the Patriots. I'll say that.
He's just kind of universally the greatest quarterback ever. So at this point, I don't really hate him as much anymore. Like another ring.
It was the comeback against the Falcons where I kind of just threw up my hands. It was like, okay, what do you do but respect the guy at this point? So
I reached that point with LeBron in 2016. Growing up a Bulls fan, 2011 really hurt me as an 11-year-old.
Hurt everybody.
Yeah.
But 2016, I just kind of let that go and just like, you know what? I'm not going to root for LeBron, but that's greatness, so got to appreciate it.
Yeah, see, I'm with you there. I kind of agree on that timeline too with LeBron, but I don't know, for me, like Brady, I mean, yes, he is the greatest of all time. That's great. I've just had enough. Like, he's how old now?
I don't even know how old he is.
Yeah. He's almost as old as me. Come on, get out of here.
So you'd rather watch a Bucs game, let's say the Bucs are on Sunday Night Football. You'd rather Blaine Gabbert be playing quarterback.
Oh, God, no. But I'd
That's
rather.
what I mean. Like, what's wrong with having the greatest quarterback of all time still playing?
I'm just saying I don't want him winning another Super Bowl.
Okay.
I've had enough of that. And also, give me Buccaneer Bruce and the creamsicle unis. Give me that all year.
Oh, see, now that is a take I fully agree with. They should be those should be their permanent uniforms.
Those are nice. I agree.
Absolutely, they should be.
Creamsicles.
All right, great stuff today, guys. Kyle, thanks for being here. Appreciate it. We will be back tomorrow. We have Bears have OTAs again. They were off last week. They have OTAs tomorrow, so Nick and I will be there. We'll have the recap from everything we learned at House Hall. Matt Eberflus talking, all that. We'll also have another player, grades from last season, that we'll be breaking down. Make sure you're checking out Will's Player Series at allchgo.com. Again, those are unlocked for you there, but please sign up. Get the memberships. Get those T-shirts. Appreciate everyone. Check out the merch. And follow us on Twitter. I'm at Adam Hoge. He's at Nicholas Moreano. He is at K_Williams Media, which is easier to say than Will DeWitt's handle. Yep, the ones.
I agree.
Thanks to Lawrence producing today.
Thanks, buddy. Yeah.
Tough take, though, with the
with not wanting Tom Brady to win his 19th
I'm more
Super Bowl.
concerned about the Top Gun takes, to be honest. That kind of bothered me.
Oh, I know.
Sour
Sorry
taste
about that.
All right, we're out of here. We'll talk to you tomorrow.